This is the best of the Tory Lowe Show on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app. Catch the Tory Lowe Show every weekday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
I saw this meme that I guess was posted on Trump's page, and the embarrassing administration, once again, embarrassing to see that this is what his administration is posting right now. It's one of those things where when I see stuff like this, I know they're trying to trigger because they got publicists and PR people, and they got people sitting around. It's not just random. It may seem random, but it's administration, and they post things to trigger. And I think this is an embarrassment to the country. I think that when you see stuff like this, it makes the country look bad. It don't make black people look bad. It just makes the country look bad, and it's a reminder that this country is far from where it needs to be. The Trump administration should be embarrassed, and they should really
court order. The Michigan investigation.
I don't even think it's removed. Is it removed off the site right now due to the backlash? Well, I don't think so. But what I'm saying is, it was a reel, some type of reel that they posted. If you're watching as we broadcast live, I think we got what it was. Let's check this out. I'm sure y'all have seen this multiple times already. Let's see. Do we have
Initiated by a court order, the Michigan investigation team obtained forensic access to a DS200 tabulator, the machine that counts the votes. A Telit 4G wireless chip manufactured in Taiwan was discovered embedded into the motherboard. The voting machine tapes clearly indicate modem engagement and transmission of election data. Some of the anomalies that we noticed in the 2020 general elections, that 5 key states all stopped counting at a certain time in these key battleground states. These were all where the software, Dominion machines, ES&S machines were used, the Smartmatic, the GEMS software. So when the vote stopped counting, and this has been noted in other countries as well, President Trump was significantly ahead. When reporting and counting resumed, there was a massive spike occurred that favored Joe Biden.
Yeah. So this is where I say this is the tasteless. It was tasteless. And, okay, so let's say he's still upset because he thought that the election was rigged. Nobody is in handcuffs. You showing us the software. See, this is what I don't like about government and politics, and they're saying somebody committed crimes. Nobody goes to jail. Nobody's in jail. Nobody's in jail from the Epstein files. If they rigged the election and you know who did it, where is the handcuffs? But why would you stick this picture of Obama in this? You're trying to what? You got Joe Biden. If you got a problem with Joe Biden in the rigged election, why would you throw that out there? And this is something that I say is the sickness. The most sickest thing about America is the hatred for black people. That it doesn't matter who's in the administration. Joe Biden said, "You're not black unless you vote for him." You know what I mean? So we have it. These last 2 administrations, to me, have been 2 of the most embarrassing administrations when it came to the government, like in history, like the things that they were running. But Trump right now is embarrassing. I think that that's embarrassing to the country. I think that he was trying to prove a point, but yet tried to take a stab at Obama. You know what I mean? And I voted for Trump and Obama. I voted for Donald J. Trump and Barack Obama.
This is the Tory Lowe Show on 101.
Okay, I don't know what that was, Andrew. But what I'm saying is, here we go. I don't like what I'm seeing at the moment because I think that people many times, I really thought that when Trump was able to get back in office in spite of what took place, him going to jail, becoming a felon, all of that. I mean, he rose above a lot of those obstacles. He had one of the greatest comeback stories in political history. I think so. But that doesn't take away from the fact that it's some issues that he has, and many times if he allowed this type of thing to go on his page, he allowed it to happen. I don't care how nobody try to slice it. And that's it. Like I said, I don't get triggered from somebody calling me anything. I talked about this yesterday before this even came out. My show yesterday was about how I believe that people are jealous, envious of blacks. So when they call me the N-word, that's what I get from it. I think that they're feeling inadequate within themselves. That's how I feel about it. I said that yesterday. But when I see things that's so broad that the world is watching and this happens, not only is it's embarrassing for his administration, this is embarrassing for those that work in the Trump administration. Not for black people. You know, we've been called worse. Joe Biden was embarrassing at certain points. His son had a whole computer full of stuff that was in there, crack, calling black people the N-word. Both of these administrations are two administrations that'll go down in history as one of the muddiest, low-vibrating administrations in the country. And all of the administrations was horrible toward black. All of them. But these last two was crazy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
What's going on with this book?
This is actually her sophomore book. Her first book was 10 Days with Samantha. And so this is pretty much a sequel of her first book she wrote when she was 10 years old. And actually it was released like a few months before COVID hit. So she had a couple of book signings scheduled for the beginning of 2020 and the COVID hit. So we had to cancel all of her book signings. So she wrote this book about 2 years ago. And my illustrator, being from Ukraine, had a lot going on.
Oh, wow.
Like moving from the war, going to Poland. So it took her 2 years to actually complete this book. And so she completed it in the month of February. So I said, oh, wow, we can release it in time for Black History Month, because she's a huge advocate for Black history. So she talks about Dr. Martin Luther King in her book. She talks about Samantha's journey to the King Center, all of those different avenues. So it was right on time. So
well, Mia Moore is in the studio. The author, Mia Moore Johnson, is in the studio. Young author, your first book. Oh, not your first book.
Sophomore book.
The sophomore book. How you doing?
I'm good.
Now, when did you decide that you were going to start writing children's books?
Well, this started, as my mom said, when I was 10. So I was just like writing for the fun of it, because I enjoy writing. And my mom seen it. She was like, okay, we're going to turn this into a book. And I just started doing it since then for the love of it.
And you know your mama, she going to be on it.
Uh-huh.
She gonna be on it. She do not waste nothing. She don't waste no time. She go, if you say something, she gonna be like, we can turn that into a workshop.
Yeah.
That's what happened too.
Right.
She was following me as I released my book, my devotion, and I seen her notebook, and it had like day 1, and she wrote a bunch of it. Then day 2, so I grabbed it and read it. I was like, oh, this is a book. So keep writing.
Right. Amazing. Also, the title, Samantha Goes to Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Now, what is this book about? Samantha going to Atlanta.
So, I know a lot of people, when they like hear Atlanta, they probably think like the ghetto.
Take me through there. Take me through there.
Yeah, but no, it's not what this about. It simply started off as a family reunion she goes on, and then it through the book you see she goes on these different historical places She goes to like the birth home of Martin Luther King. She goes to the
Oh, wow.
She goes to where they do like when they have the civil rights like events and stuff, and the King Center. It's like it's a fun but like also an educational book.
And so if a young child goes to Atlanta, these are some of the things you can explore
Yes.
about your history.
Yes.
About Atlanta history.
Yes.
About Dr. King. It's sounding powerful.
And Dr. King is actually in the front where children that purchase this book can actually color him. So it's a coloring page of Dr. King as well. So, and this is actually a sequel of her book, 10 Days with Samantha. So
Where do we get the book from? Where is it?
You
It's
can
on
purchase
Amazon.
on Amazon. Yep. And if you Google the book, you can purchase it on different platforms, but you can get it for sure off of Amazon.
And do you have a web page where people can follow you and things like that? Is it a TikTok?
Yeah. Social.
yeah.
Do you use social media to
Yeah, I
promote
do.
a lot of the things you're doing?
Yeah. I have an Instagram. I don't have a TikTok yet, but I've been thinking about it.
You don't have a TikTok?
Not for my
Oh, for your following. Okay.
Yeah.
Not for the
your
book, but
Instagram?
you got the TikTok dancing on.
What's your Instagram handle?
It's love with 2 L's and then 4 like the number 4 3 times, and it's m.i.a.
Okay, and like I said, you got a young up and comer right here. You know, she by the time she get married, she been had 1,000 books written.
Yeah, so her and my husband are in the process of writing a book of poetry. He's a poet,
that's what's
so
up.
they're writing a book called Daddy's Little Girl, and so where both of them collaborate on the poetry they write as well. So, and she has a book coming. What is the second book? The other book?
So I was gonna take a little break on the sequel with 10 Days with Samantha and talk about how I grew up with a cleft lip and palate and like you know different emotions I went
Right.
through and stuff like that.
And what is a cuff lip?
A cleft lip and palate.
A cleft lip and palate.
Yes.
What is it?
So when I was a baby, I was born. My top lip and like the top of my mouth was like open. Yeah. So and I know it's very rare and like it's rare, but like I know it's a lot of other kids that I've seen that actually has it too. So it probably is like an encouragement book for other kids that went through what I went through and stuff like that.
And it makes you unique too, because like I said, you get to talk about these things and how you were able to shine bright like a diamond and still be as amazing as anybody on earth at the same time.
Yes.
That's powerful. I'll tell you right now, like it's so much energy in the studio today from all of the talent that then came through here.
Most definitely.
I want to ask you another question about the youth. What is the biggest challenge facing the youth today that you feel?
Well, being black.
And when you say being black, what does that mean?
We come from a lot, and I feel like we're only looked at most of the time just because of what race we are. We're not looked at because of the knowledge we have, because we come from a lot of great, but a lot of people don't talk about that. They only talk about the negative.
Marginalizing the greatness. But you saying, hey, look, you can't marginalize this greatness because you out here.
Yeah.
You got a book on Amazon. It's your
2
sophomore
books
book.
on Amazon.
and you being a voice.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
This Sunday, not last Sunday, because we had the Super Bowl already. We're going to the All-Star break in the NBA now. Sunday is All-Star weekend, and there's been some, controversy on how to form this game because it's gotten weaker by the year. Because, money going up, players don't want to get hurt, and stuff like that. People don't want to see players lackluster on the court. And people have been trying to come up with ways to change this game and make it more interesting and entertaining for the fans. Now, people have gone with, East versus West. People have gone with Team Giannis versus Team Jokic.
Right.
LeBron versus Steph.
Yeah.
I mean, it has worked, but not really. We haven't had.
They want the ratings to go up.
Right. We haven't had a good one since maybe like 2021, 2022. And I was watching a podcast last night or 2 days ago, one of those, and it had Nick Wright. He's a show host for First Things First, and sports show or whatever. And he went on this podcast and said, I have a solution. Because he was asked, I think Andrew got the clips.
You know what? PC headlines be damned.
I know where you're going.
White guys versus black guys. Luka, Joker, Flag, Reeves, Knipple against Wimby, whomever. And I'm telling you right now, guys would play hard.
Oh, wow. Okay, so basically what he was saying was if the All-Star game was black guys versus white guys, it'll be competitive.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
Now, that's a crazy take because, I mean, what are we really gonna do about it? Like, if it was black versus white guys, let's say the lineup you said Luka, Knipple, Cooper, Flag, Jokic versus what, like Steph, Donovan Mitchell, Ant, you know what I'm saying, Tatum, LeBron, and then Wemby, something like that.
Let me tell you something. That would be the most highest rated game in All-Star history. If it was the brothers versus everybody, oh my God.
I'm trying to tell you, the ratings would skyrocket. No, it's a kind of a crazy take. But at the same time, you got to think about it.
So it would have to take racial tension to create
you have to make a joke out of
a good game
in
the NBA.
Yeah, you'd have to.
Wow.
You'd have to like I don't know exactly how to, the merchandise would look, like would it be like Team Black? You know what I'm saying? Like Team Black, LeBron under it, Team White, Luka, something like that. I don't know how.
I don't know.
That. But it would just have to be Team White or Black.
I mean, I could say also they could do American players versus the international player.
Yeah, but at the same time, like they don't want America to lose.
Well, we're talking about like if it was an All-Star game.
Right. They don't want America to lose.
Because they got a lot of these
you got Wemby,
foreign players are in the league now.
Luka, Giannis, Jokic.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of dangerous.
It wouldn't be as black and white. It wouldn't be as racially charged. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know if that would work, though, because I feel like it's not too many international players. They'd have to pull some from, like, overseas to come play, or G League. You know what I'm saying? It would be hard. But I think it's a funny idea. I do.
Well, I'll say this. It's controversial.
Oh, yeah.
But it would never happen.
No, never.
It would never happen.
They couldn't do it.
It would be more better to do the American-born basketball players against,
They keep it that way.
Yeah, because then it'll be still a little mixed.
Because I feel like some players might get offended if it was Team Black versus Team White.
I don't think they'll get offended, but I believe it'll be racially charged, and it would open up the door for a lot of interesting comments in the chats.
That's true.
And then it'll enrage people because now you got this. Boxing used to do it all the time. They used to have the unbeatable big black boxer versus the great white hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how.
The great white hope.
Yeah, the white boxer that's supposed to come and take down the big black, heavyweight champ.
That's tough.
Yeah, but that is a part of the game to promote, and I've seen it done.
Right.
But it wouldn't work for basketball and football.
Right. Yeah, it wouldn't work. It's too much of a controversy.
And it's too many people involved. Like,
way too
at least boxing is like,
it's like
the black boxer, and it's gonna happen anyway.
Right.
But the promotion could be black and white.
Now,
but when it comes to basketball, that's too many moving parts for that to come out well.
Now, even on like on a national scale too, that big of a scale, it wouldn't be able to happen, man. Like, I think it's a funny idea. I think it could make the ratings go up a lot because I feel like the players would actually play pretty hard.
Who plays better anyway when you talk about black versus white? Because would they be considered white if they're international?
I think that's a good question.
Or are you just basing it on skin?
I think it had to be based off skin.
Oh wow! Here we go.
That's what make it worse.
I want to make sure that in 2026 we kind of get a clear understanding of the positioning of black in America and in our community. So I may consistently kind of hit on these points because I think that many people think that we don't understand or don't know what's happening. And I think that they kind of continue to do the same thing over again. And we keep many of us fall in line with a lot of the old tactics, but it's a lot of people waking up. It's a lot of people waking up, and they're realizing that people kind of use black to their benefit, to their advantage. They use us. Hey, look at how bad this situation is. You need to come and get involved in this, And many times we feel it. We understand. We understand some of the L's and the aggressive, tragic situations because this is our fight. We know how to fight those situations. But in 2026, I told y'all what I tell y'all yesterday when I started the show. Mind your own black business. But today I'm going to tell you to know your worth, know your value, know who you are. Because many times we don't know. Many times we are falling to the mainstream marketing of black, and we just all out there. We all for everything. It ain't no center ground. Ain't no structure to it. We just everything for everybody. And so when we look at our community and we see that our youth need our attention at this point, our elders need our attention at this point, our families need our attention, our neighborhoods need our attention, our focused attention. That's where we got to be. And if you're not in that space in 2026, you just a bot. You're doing the same thing that's always been going on where we are distracted and off course. To the point where we are leading in some of the most disturbing statistics when it comes to our community. But that just takes a little TLC. That just takes a little bit more action. That takes us being more focused on what's in front of us and what's outside our windows. Understand what I'm saying? I think that we have been distracted and taken off course for too long. And many times we didn't even know we was going off course. We thought we was doing the right thing. We thought we was following good leadership. We thought that we were being productive citizens following the status quo. But now we don't have to think no more because we're at ground zero. You can look out the window and see for the last 60-some years, for the last 80-some years, there has been no progress. So don't continue to be used and abused and fighting for agendas that's not improving the neighborhood. I believe my grandma thought she was doing the right thing when she was told by her leadership that this was the right thing to do with what she knew. I believe all of our elders and people in the community, they trust in the leadership to, hey, look, this is what we need to do. Okay, these are the people that's supposed to know what to do. I'm coming to find out these people don't even know what to do. They getting raises. They making money. They families doing all right. They buddies seeming to get in better positions. But is the community moving in the right direction? Now, that's not an opinion. You just got to look outside. Look outside. You tell me. Stop coming to me. Bots, stop coming in the chat trying to get everybody off track, and look out the window and you tell me what you think. You just tell me what you think when you look out. Open that curtain back and look outside and you tell me, has it been working? Okay. This is not an argument. This is not what I think and what you think. Walk down your block and see what happens. Walk down your block and tell me, is it improving in the last 10 years? Tell me if you see kids playing outside in the summertime like you used to play outside in the summertime when you was a kid. Okay. There's no discussion. There's no discussion. What I'm saying is, if we don't change the mind frame that we have, 2026 will look like a lot like the last 60, 70 years. But if we change the way we think, if we start being about that action, if we start holding our leadership, matter of fact, I say we need a fresh group of people so we can start fresh. I say if you've been in office about 2-3 terms, this is your work. This is your outcome. Why is you believing in something that's been here, creating the situation that we're seeing? We can no longer trust or believe that because you've been around. This is your result. It's simple. It's not all you gotta do is walk down your neighborhood. Do you see jobs? Y'all can't even see a grocery store. They saying we living in a food desert. But you saying things gonna get better. You can't get better with the same coaches if they've been coaching for a long time and the team ain't winning. It's not rocket science. It's time to know our worth. It's time to repair the village. It's time to focus on black. I had a conversation this week about food deserts. We had a conversation about food deserts this week, and it seems to be to the point where a lot of people are trying to come up with a way to try to, tackle that issue. But I'm rolling through the block. I'm rolling through the neighborhood. And all of a sudden I see a liquor store. I see a clothing store. And I'm talking about multiple times. Sometimes 2 liquor stores every other block. I see clothing stores, chicken spots, hamburger joints. You see corner stores, gas stations. You see all of these different outlets when it comes to selling in the black community, but they got a problem with the grocery store. I wonder why. Think about it. If you go down the neighborhood, beauty stores, beauty supply stores, sometimes you could see 2 or 3 beauty supply stores, just riding down Capitol or riding down one of the main streets. You can see chicken spots, 3 or 4 or 5 chicken spots in a certain mile, within a certain mile. You can see all of these different places where people can go and get this and that, but they have a problem where they're saying that we can't keep a grocery store in urban areas where the grocery stores are shutting down. Sometimes I wonder why. Why are we having trouble keeping a grocery store in the black community? Understand what I'm saying? If I could go right now and go grab me a bottle of liquor in any neighborhood, in any community, I can go grab me a chicken sandwich, I can grab me all of these other items. Churches, it's all kinds of stuff all over the community, but we struggling with the grocery store. Why do you think that? Why do you think that there's an issue with the grocery store, but there's not an issue with the shoe store? It's shoe stores all over the place. People selling shoes everywhere. It's making me raise an eyebrow, Truth Nation. Is this by design? We don't have a problem with no other store in the black community. We don't have a problem with no other store in the black community. And each store operates And some of these stores been there for a long time. So either A, we don't like to buy groceries, which is a lie. We buy groceries. We cook. If you go to Walmart, it's packed, especially on the 1st and 15th. Why? It's just a question I'm throwing out there. Because what's bothering me the most about this is that they're acting like it's a problem that can't be resolved, that it's a huge problem that they got to go and have a think tank to try to create a grocery store in the black neighborhoods. Why do you feel that we got everything else in the black community? I haven't seen a few Chinese restaurants. We got all these, we got Mexican restaurants, we got Chinese restaurants. We got all of these different items where you can eat in the black community, but you ain't got fresh fruits and vegetables. Think about it. Somebody help me out. Somebody in the chat, help me out. Dimitri says corner stores, beauty supply stores, liquor stores, gas stations, chicken spots, and not a mention of churches. Wow. It's easier to get a shot of tequila than to get some fresh vegetables. That's all I'm saying. Josh in the chat says, because that money not circulating in our community, someone said it best, we buy what we want, but beg for what we need. Oh, wow. We buy what we want and beg for what we need. Oh, if that's the case, we in trouble. If that's the case, Josh, we in trouble. Because this is what I think. There's more money in when your health goes bad because you got to go to the doctor, you got to, get medication. I was talking about the dialysis centers, how there's more dialysis centers in the neighborhoods than grocery stores. So we become an account somewhere when you have bad health, and I think that's economics. I think that somebody's profiting from the fact that we don't have the grocery stores readily available. Who profits the most from us not having fresh fruits and vegetables? I'm just trying to let you know. I'm just trying to let you know what I'm seeing. Now y'all can draw your own conclusions to that. But I couldn't help but seeing all of the different shopping options in the black community. And several times it's multiple restaurants within a certain mile span. It's multiple liquor stores within a certain mile span. It's multiple other ideas, but you can't find one grocery store. Marvin Jenkins says, let's address the theft involved. Businesses are not in business to lose money. Grocery stores are no different. So you telling me they're not stealing out the liquor store? So you telling me they're not stealing out the corner store? So you telling me the beauty supply store got it down packed? You telling me they ain't snatching no wigs? They ain't grabbing a little extra out the beauty supply store? I'm just asking. Because we know theft is an issue. We know they out here stealing. It's people stealing. But I believe everybody got to deal with theft. I'm just tossing it out there. Because I think that many times when I see this, and now that we have it as the topic of conversation, I'm starting to raise an eyebrow, Truth Nation. Look, we got the legendary James Causey from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel in studio.
Thank you for having
I've
me.
been trying to get this guy on the show, and he's got a busy schedule. He doing his thing, but it's never been a better time. The time, what they say, they say, perfect time.
It is.
Shador Sanders.
Yes, it is.
Perfect time.
Yes.
Hey,
I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy that you're here.
Yes.
You know, a legend, broadcasting journalist legend.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And we got the miracle minister Kevin in studio. It's an event coming up. How you doing, Minister Kevin?
I'm blessed.
We used to you doing a Monday prayer.
Yes.
Stay cool.
It is.
Stay calm.
And
stay focused.
got to do it. Got to do all of them.
Powerful.
Shout out to Josh and Kawada want me to get a T-shirt saying that.
Yeah. You know, everybody been trying to get that T-shirt now.
Yeah.
But the reason we got y'all here is that it's an event coming up called Behind the Gun. It's an upcoming event, and it's talking about a conversation on firearm ownership and best practices that contribute to increased safety in Milwaukee. Now, we know, Minister Kevin, your story about you almost losing your life to gun violence while you was out driving Uber.
That's correct.
And that was several years ago.
October 2023.
Mm-hmm.
2.5 years, or less than 2.5 years ago. Yeah. Less than 2.5 years ago.
And James Causey, you as a journalist, writing about stories, trying to try to make a lot of this make sense or point out where we need to be with a lot of this. What's going on with this event, Behind the Gun?
Yeah, thanks again for having me on, Tory. So this Behind the Gun event is a different conversation about guns. Mm-hmm. You know, I think a lot of people probably share this sentiment where you get tired of hearing, put the guns down.
Right.
Put the guns down. And we have to move the conversation beyond that, and that's what we're trying to do in this with this event coming up March 7th. So what we're trying to do, we put a dynamic panel together. We have Pastor Simmons, Eddie Silas, who's the co-owner of Prolific Arms, which is one of only 15 black-owned gun shops in the United States of America, Michelle Bryant, and our very own Homer Blow. And we're going to have a conversation not about putting the guns down, but the guns are here. So how do we be safe with the guns? How do we properly store guns? What do you do if you come across a gun? And we had a meeting yesterday where we were all on a Zoom call and we were talking about it. In that conversation, I wish that could have been the show because it was dynamic. We started with Minister Simmons. Mm-hmm. Talking about what happened to him, but at the same time, Eddie Silas was like, look, a gun saved my life. If it wasn't for a gun, I wouldn't be here today. Right. So, you know, one thing we could agree on, I know we disagree on a lot about guns, but one thing that I think we could all agree on is that we have to do a better job on properly storing our weapons so they don't end up in the hands of the bad people. I think if we could start with that, we could start adding on to other layers. And Michelle was talking about how, you know, if you're black, you know, with a gun, it's looked at totally different than if you're white with a gun, you know.
Well, they say if you want the police to come quick, black men with a gun.
That's all you have to say.
And they gonna pull up faster than you can say ampersand.
It's sad, but it's true. And I've had to do that several times. Unfortunately, when I saw things happening in my neighborhood and I knew police weren't going to come, you know, I saw a young lady being some men messing with her. I interfered and I got involved. And
oh wow!
And the police, I called and I said, "Look, y'all coming?" Didn't show up. Then I had to say it was a gun involved, and then they showed up. You shouldn't have to do that.
Sometimes when I'm looking for missing girls and girls that I'm tracking down, mm-hmm. and Minister Kevin is a witness, and Minister Kevin, he had to go up to the police station after we called the police station several times. You drove up there, and they still didn't come after for another 2 hours.
They didn't want to help me at all. I mean, I went there in their face at 4th District on Silver Spring, and I'm telling them what's going on. And they're like, well, we got a lot of other calls. We might be able to move it up a little bit on the roster, but we got a lot of other things we got to do.
Right.
Like, well, you got a lot of people just sitting around here doing nothing. Can you send one?
Yeah. Those are real conversations.
And he pulled up on me while we had the front door blocked and the back door blocked so nobody wouldn't run out.
Right.
So when he pulled up, he said, how long? I said, we've been called the police. So he was like, you know what, I'm finna drive up there. And then, like I said, but you got to say somebody got a gun almost to get the immediate reaction.
I know. But then when everybody says somebody has a gun, then, what do you do then? Because now you're still
the boy that cried wolf.
Exactly.
We just trying to get him here. I don't think it's a wolf situation. We just trying to get the situation we dealing with some attention.
Exactly.
Right. The people we are paying with our tax dollars to protect and serve, we try to get them to do their job.
Right. And so with this behind the gun, what we did, John Dietrich, fantastic reporter at the
Salute
paper.
to John Dietrich.
Yeah, you know him.
Yeah.
And John Dietrich and we went to a bunch of community groups and we listened to them. And this is the event that they told us that they wanted. They said, look, we need, some of us are gun owners and we feel like we have to live in a silo and we can't have real conversations about this. So we said, well, if you want that, and we start going to different groups and they were saying the same thing. So we put this together. And I think this is a dynamic panel and it's the right time to have this conversation. It's going to be Saturday, March 7th at the Prince Hall Masonic Temple, 1218 West North Avenue. You can sign up on the JS Online website. But yeah, if people say, who is this event for? This event is for if you're a gun owner, if you're not a gun owner, if you're thinking about buying a gun, if you just want to have a conversation about guns, you should be at this event.
Well, to me, we need to not only educate about gun ownership, we need to get to the youth and train them how to properly use a gun and what it's about. Because I see, when I get outside of the north side, I see a better understanding of what guns are and what they're capable of doing. But when I come into my community, we have a program version of guns where you got to, turn the gun to the side.
Exactly.
This is all Hollywood television ideas that we look on TV and get that information. But it's real training. It's real people that are out here, gun owners, that'll train you how to use the gun, how to secure the gun, how to even teach the kids. These are the things that we got to go. This is the direction we got to go. And this meeting seems like, hey, look, we got gun owners that are trying to get their side of the story out here.
Exactly.
Black gun owners trying to get their side of the story where they are disciplined, they are trained, and they're willing to help you.
Exactly. And you know what's funny, Tory? I think when we talk about guns, I hate to say this, but, growing up, Black people, especially our kids, we teach kids to fear guns.
Right.
But you go outside of Milwaukee, you go to the burbs and things like that, they're teaching kids gun skills.
Right.
So they don't have this bravado that, a gun means that they have the power. It's like they respect the gun. And we have to change our mindset around that because there's enough guns in the United States to arm every man, woman, and child. So the chances are high that your child will come across a gun. So you need to, instead of telling your kid to fear this gun, you should teach the kid to respect the gun so they don't do anything crazy.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, too. Not fear, but respect. Because if you respect it, you won't be out stealing guns. You won't be out using guns for illicit behavior, trying to rob people and stuff like that. That's not what it's for. It's for protection. It's for defense, not for offense. And a lot of times with our youth, they see it as a way of scoring points with their friends. I got a gun. Let's go do something. Just because what? I got a gun. And they do things that will ruin people's lives just because they have a gun.
Hey, look, when we come back, I want to discuss some of the negative stereotype on our community. Because I don't think we talk about it enough, especially when it comes to gun ownership. We got the legendary James Causey, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, journalist, reporter, storyteller, award-winning journalist in studio, and we got the Miracle Minister Kevin in studios. We're talking about a program, an event that's scheduled to come into the community Saturday, March 7th at Prince Hall Masonic Temple at 1218 West North Avenue. I want to know why the stereotypes about gun ownership in black communities. Many times when we talk about guns, it's more stereotype ideas than actual reality. Oh, yeah. And actually, guns are a part of American culture, and they can be used safely. And many times when you're using it in that space, you don't even have to use it at all.
Right. Well, let's
in a safe space.
Well, let's start with the basics. When it comes to gun ownership, I think African Americans are more conservative about guns than white people are. You know, they own more guns than we do.
Right.
They teach their kids at a very young age how to handle a weapon. But when we see how we're portrayed on television, in movies, shooting guns sideways, using it as a status symbol to show how tough and bravado you are.
Had a gun in the back of your belt buckle.
Yeah, they show us in the most negative ways.
In your boot.
Yeah, all kinds of craziness. And I think that leaks out into society, and people see that and they think that's how they're supposed to shoot. That's how they're supposed to act. And that's how they're supposed to portray and improve their manhood with a gun. And truth be told, I grew up around guns. I grew up in the South with my grandparents in Mississippi, and my grandfather had a rifle or a gun almost in every room of the house. And he taught me at a very young age, you know, this is a gun, this is how it's used, don't play with it, all that kind of stuff. And I didn't. And he took me hunting. And so we used to go rabbit hunting and squirrel hunting and all that kind of stuff. It was one of those kind of things that I grew up doing. But I grew up around guns. And my father, you know, he was a military man. He served time in the Army. So he always had guns around the house too. But I never was one to take a gun and try to use it in a fit of anger, because they both instilled in me, if you ever get to the point where you feel like you have to pull a gun, you got to use it.
Right.
So don't get to that point. And so I always tried to use other ways and other means to avoid those kind of situations. And that's the kind of stuff we should be teaching, honestly. Now, there's going to be situations where you just can't get out of, like Eddie Silas, and he was in a situation of life and death. And he feels that the gun saved his life. But when you do pull a trigger, even if you're in the right, you
better make sure it's according to law.
Yeah, because if you have any kind of doubt or any kind of mistake, it's not easy. Shooting someone is very difficult.
Right.
Very hard. And you have to live with that on your conscience. Even if your life is in danger, that's something you have to live with. And those are real conversations that we need to have, because TV will make it seem like it's just a clean shot, you walk away and that's it. But you have to live with what you did for the rest of your life.
Well, I'll say this. I was watching the Power Universe. There's a lot of shooting going on in there. I find it amazing how, you know, in some of these popular shows, they kill somebody and then the next scene, the body cleaned up, gone, and then they moving on to the next. Right. Ain't no big investigation. You know, ain't nobody trying to hide from the police. You know what I mean? It's just this illusion. We can't go along with the Hollywood narratives, because there are real situations like Miracle Minister Kevin's, where a young man, you went to an Uber situation, and they tried to actually rob you or try to, you know, take control or whatever they was trying to do.
They had one desire, that was to kill me.
Right.
Yeah, that was it, because they never had a conversation with me about anything. Get out, give me your money. They didn't rob me. My money and my wallet was still in my pockets. First thing they did was put a gun in my head and pull the trigger.
So you don't think that they were trying to rob you?
They didn't. They had every opportunity. I had a wallet, I had a ring, I had money in the pocket that I got back from the police department. They didn't do anything. They just want the vehicle.
They just took the vehicle.
That's it.
Wow.
Just because they had a gun. So we have a gun. Now we got the opportunity to do something. It don't sense having a gun if you're not going to do anything with it, right?
Wow.
So that was they thought. We got a gun. We got to do something with it. I feel powerful, like you say. I feel powerful because I got a gun. And it's a false power. It's not real. But I heard you say it earlier on the radio that the kids don't play outside like we did.
Right.
I grew up on 24th and Hopkins, and I was at Auburn Avenue all the time. And you had to wait half hour sometimes just to get a game off of 3 or 4 courts. You go up to Lincoln, you probably never play going up there.
Hey, you better get up there early.
You don't even see people at these playgrounds anymore.
Right.
You don't even see them out there playing basketball.
Because the gun violence done got that bad.
Right. But you have a lot of groups out there, and I ain't gonna dog all of them. There are some good groups out there, but you got a lot of groups out there, and they're getting a lot of money to help the youth, but we don't see a lot of the help coming forth. What they had back in my day, they had warning basketball. And you went out, you played. They had all these different leagues back. They had football leagues. They had all these leagues, and the kids were flooding the playgrounds to participate in these events. Even when you talk about AAU, they had, the playground. They had all these different organizations that was there. People paid to get in it, whatever. They kept their youth busy. My daughter played AAU, kept her busy, and nowadays, all they need is a gun. They don't need a ball. They need a gun.
But let me jump in, and I don't want this to turn into a conversation of kids don't have anything to do, because there's plenty to do besides robbing an Uber driver and shooting them and leaving them for dead. I mean,
So you're saying it's on the parents?
It's on the parents. It's plenty. It's what the kids want to do. MPS puts out a rec book every fall, every spring, every summer, and you could pick from dozens of things that you want to do, that you can do. It's just that they don't want to do those things.
Some people say that those things were what my grandmama was using. Like, people want more modern technological ideas that their counterparts outside of the North Side are doing. They want that kind of neighborhood development, because they'll be in our neighborhood and we can't even get a skating ring here. Like, we can't even have they go out to places where they don't even want black kids at their skating ring. And we've been talking about this for years, that just something basic as a skating ring is a huge controversial idea in our community. So do we have what they need, or are we saying that it's there and they just don't want to participate?
That brought up a conversation that we had on when we were on our Zoom yesterday, where Homer Blow was talking about this, and he brought up the fact that a lot of us are traumatized.
Yeah,
we're dealing with a lot of mental health issues, and then we have to address those issues before we could move forward and do these other things. And so he has this one saying, and I'm pretty sure you guys have heard it: grand opening, grand closing.
Right.
You can open up a skating rink tomorrow, but how long can you keep it open and safe?
You can open up a club today, and it's the grown-ups. You talk about the kids.
Yeah.
Okay, these adult clubs getting shut down.
But why is that? It could happen in other communities, but it can't happen in ours.
Because we're
The mentality.
the mentality,
It's a mentality.
and the trauma that's associated with it, because we've been traumatized so much and for so long that, sometimes you can't see the trees. You know what I mean? Because you're blinded by everything else.
Plus, we are impulsive. Like, we're taught to be emotionally driven.
Yeah.
And many times when you're emotionally driven, you only see one way to handle something. And I was definitely trying to tell people we have to teach problem-solving skills, because I think that many times when we get upset, we're only trying to retaliate, and many times in the worst way, And that comes through rap music. If you're looking at our basic programming of today, they show Get Back,
Exactly.
So many times that is a default in a lot of people's minds, because they've been watching these programs, they've been listening to this music, NBA Youngboy, a lot of these gangster rap type concepts. Then when they get into the real situation, only thing that they can default to is what they've been constantly listening to and been viewing. And this is where we have to get into a space where, okay, that's entertainment. This is real life.
Exactly.
This is how you handle it in real life.
They don't realize that, because they see it like the gangsters with the guns, and they retaliate with the guns. But I was watching TMZ yesterday, and it was on the airplane. 2 rappers had a pillow fight.
Ja Rule and on the plane, Ja Rule and Tony Yayo.
Yayo, yep.
Too old for that.
They fight with pillows, but they got y'all out here in the street with guns.
Right.
Come on, man.
Hey.
Yeah. Too old for that.
All I'm saying is I think that this is a great step in the conversation when it comes to gun violence in the city.
I think it's going to be a great conversation. And just let me tell you again, it's March 7th at the Prince Hall Masonic Temple, 1218 West North Avenue. To sign up, go to jsonline.com, type in Behind the Gun, and then I'll bring up a story, and you can find a link in the story to sign up. It starts at 10 o'clock. We're going to feed you. We're going to give you information, and there will be informational booths there as well to help people. And there will be some giveaways. So you may want to.
It's sounding powerful.
It is powerful.
I think we forget the most important thing about it.
What's that?
It's free.
It's free.
It's free.
It's free.
Once again, we got a panel, Homer Blow, Michelle Bryant, Eddie Salas, and the Miracle Minister Kevin on the panel. It'll be hosted, hosted by James Causey from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. It sounds like an empowering event for those that want to understand and learn how to be or live with guns from people who are traditional gun owners in the black community.
Yes. And you will be surprised when we start putting this together and talking to people in the community. I was surprised at how many people have guns that I wouldn't have thought would own a gun. And I was like, oh, you own a gun? Oh, I didn't know that. And so because we live in these silos and you can't really talk, certain people can't say or admit that they own a gun because it's looked at in a certain way.
Right.
So
like you violent.
Yeah. Even though some of these people are very well respected in the community, and it's viewed in a negative light. And we have to change that dynamic and conversation when it comes to that because, like I said, I'm a gun owner. I've written about it in columns saying, I will protect my family at all costs. And I haven't hid that from anyone. But there's a lot of people who are anti-gun. But I think if you're anti-gun, you can still come to this event and gain some knowledge out of it.
Well, I think that many times it depends on your perspective in life. And many times when you come out of neighborhoods that we live in, we fighting against the same elements as the police department.
Exactly.
We living right next door, like Tupac said. We living in the same communities where the crime is at.
Yes.
So you gotta, if somebody breaking your house, you got every right to protect your children and your family. So, you may not have the perception that a gun is something that can protect you and your family if you anti-gun, but I'm saying that sometimes you just gotta make sure that you are understanding where you live and all of the elements that we see on the news is right down the street too. So you got to learn how to live, either learn how to live and understand what to do with the gun, or you can be miseducated and end up risking lives trying to use a gun,
and sometimes,
even your own.
And sometimes you just can't wait for the police to get there. I wish we lived in Mayberry where you could call, make a phone call and
pull it off the pocket.
And the police could be there within 2 minutes, but that's just not the reality of everything.
My granddaddy kept a shotgun in the closet.
With me being a victim of gun violence and raising my children, I never let them play with toy guns and stuff like that. But yet still, I believe everybody have a right to have a gun. I'm not anti-gun at all. I'll never see myself that way. I think every black woman should have a gun, be a responsible gun owner. Don't just have one, but be a responsible.
Don't try to buy a gun for somebody else.
That's responsible.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. Be responsible, right?
So one of the things too, the owner or Prolific Arms, they will be offering some training sessions as well. So it's just like, when I got my concealed carry permit, I took the class and I was in there. The class went quick. Never had to even hold a gun or a fake gun or anything like that. And they was like, okay, you're good. I'm good at what? I don't, they don't know anything about me and guns. They don't know if I ever fired a gun before in my life. But that's all you need to be a gun owner in the state of Wisconsin, not be a felon and take this little class that they help you with and give you the answers, basically. I think we could all agree that more training is needed. I think we could all agree that, A lot of guns get stolen out of people's cars, so we should need to better protect our guns in cars. So put them in a lockbox or something like that. And I think we could all agree that proper storage is key. But however, there needs to be a way to get to your gun quickly, and those are kind of conversations that will be told at this event, where certain people do and how they keep themselves safe.
Something that we saved for a couple days, but pretty much Cam Newton, who's been known to say some very controversial things. He had a guest on his show or his podcast, Funky Friday, Dimitri Wiley, and so they pretty much were talking about all things friendship, love, and life. And so Dimitri kind of posed the question to Cam Newton about him having friends who are women. And Cam Newton basically alluded to the fact that he wouldn't want any woman around him that he wasn't involved with romantically.
I saw this.
And so it kind of went into the question of, can men and women be platonic, or can we just, kind of strictly keep it as friends?
Men and women are platonic all the time. If you go to work with somebody, y'all not in a relationship, y'all cool. If you go to church with somebody, y'all, you go out all the time with people that you are platonic with.
Right.
But what you talking about in close quarters, like best buddies, like friends hanging out.
People you choose to be around outside of work and, any other religious kind of affiliations or any other kind of groups that you decide to join.
Now, I say yes.
Okay.
But if you a dog.
Bro.
What they say, I'm a dog on my mutt. If you one of them cats that, you got to have, you got to have everything that you see, then it might be hard for you to pull that off. I know some people that cannot be around females without flipping heads and tails.
Well, that's what I'm saying. See, you know how we kind of operate in our neighborhood or in our community. If you go to a cookout, you don't eat everybody's food. Some people don't make the macaroni salad the way, grandma used to make it. They don't bake the mac and cheese how it's supposed to be baked. And so everything or everyone that you hang out, whether it's, female or men, you shouldn't feel obligated or even try to get with everybody that you're around. Sometimes you need people for a different perspective.
Right.
I think that's why I see that men and women are able to coexist platonically. I have a lot of friends in my life who we've never tried to make any advances with each other, but I need them for other certain things. I got a homegirl, she game nights, whole family dinners, all types of wholesome things like that. And so I learn, again, this is going to sound terrible, but I learn what I want in a woman from being around someone that I strictly see as a friend. It gives me a different perspective. The thing is,
you got to have self-control.
Absolutely.
I mean, and you got to know what you want, too. Like I said, I never had a problem with just saying, hey, look, I like you, you know what I mean? But I do have self-control where I'd be like, that's not going to happen. It's not just a male thing. It's females that can't control themselves either.
That is true.
It's male and female that do it. But I think that you got to have some friends from the opposite sex that you're not in a relationship with, a physical relationship with, because then you can get the information and the cues and the they can give you certain things that a male friend can't give you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I like the fact that I have women that I haven't had a physical relationship with that's around me all the time, because I get to see the other side of women. And I learned that people can have friends for 20 years, but they can't keep a relationship for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I just want to be in that 20-year situation with people, knowing that I'm safe.
No, well, that's the thing.
I could have some of the most beautiful women around me, and I'm safe because we're friends. Matter of fact, when we go out, people don't know. They think I'm the man. Hey, you got these girls around, you must got it going on.
And I'm telling you, that happens all the time. Again, not to say that it's like a reputation boost or anything like that, but that happens to me a lot. I go out with some of my homegirls who obviously looking right, dressed well, and I got homies checking in with me. I ran into, one of the homies. I was with some girls or whatever. He asked me, hey, is that free game? I'm like, I'm not her owner. I don't take, I'm not in control of any of the situation. If you want to spit game, spit game. But they obviously weren't interested, and they got to respect, it is what it is. But
just don't disrespect my friend because she said no, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because now you infringing on the respect level.
Yeah.
And some people be like, oh, when they get rejected, some people can't take rejection and you can't do that. So like, even if I'm around my female friends, my job is still to protect them to a high degree, even from my friends. If they get rejected or try to call them out their name, get all nasty, it ain't finna happen like that.
Yeah, that keeps me on my P's and Q's. And again, I also understand kind of where Cam Newton is coming from. I don't like to agree with him often because he does say some very outlandish things, but as a man...
He came off thirsty.
Well, that's the thing. You have to know as a man...
He can't control himself.
But you got to be honest about yourself.
And this is what if if people who want to take you down can see that you can't control yourself, they gonna send something thick over there.
They gonna send a trap at you.
They gonna send the trap at you, and you go. And since you got that mentality, you gonna end up falling off. All I gotta do is send something nice over there at you, and next thing you know, you in a scandal.
But that's
what happened with Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Some of these men are overly going. But Cam Newton, he obviously knows that he's overly going, and so he talks about it. I can't have these women around me because I know exactly what my plans are and what my intentions are. Sometimes you got to limit distractions.
He a dog.
Also. You got to limit distractions, though, in order to kind of progress and, keep going on.
I'm trying to tell you, that's that dog mentality. You just got to hump on everything that's around. Ain't no, like Bobby Brown said, ain't nobody humping around.
But no, I truly think, again, there's a lot of people that think because of whatever kind of makeup or, emotional intelligence that both sides might have, or how men see things and how women see things, that they can't
just looking
really
at every
coexist.
woman like you want to hunch on it.
Sometimes it's a lot of people
that's
out here
wild.
like that. I'm telling you.
But what I'm saying is, it's a backside to that. It's
that's some trauma.
It's STDs out here. It's all this other stuff. Like you got to be careful. You got to make sure that you understand what you're getting involved with.
Yeah, well, there's a chemistry, or there's a kind of chemical imbalance too as well. Like when you involve yourself with someone so wholly, again, there's STDs, there's children, there's that mind-body connection that a lot of people don't talk about. You are essentially exchanging souls with someone when you get, that intimate with someone. And so a lot of people don't think about everything that comes with it before you go for it. You just go for that immediate pleasure and that
you a dog.
that instant gratification. And sometimes
you out there hunting.
It's really not worth it. I'd have been in plenty of scenarios where I'd have messed up a couple friendships. When I was younger, thinking she look good, I look good, she want me, I might as well.
Right.
But sometimes you got to know yourself enough to say no. You got to avoid what could potentially make you happy in the short term.
But it's ego too, because a lot of people feel like, okay, I want the baddest, the most finest thing in the room.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if she married. I don't care if she got a boyfriend. I don't care if she's single. I got it. My ego.
Got to knock it down, yeah.
And that's what Cam was coming off, that his ego is like, I can get in any woman I feel like getting,
And it's a shallow
and
mindset.
that's an ego. Yeah. And many times you're going to find out the hard way. Once you get in that spotlight, some people going to work on the back end to make sure they feed that ego. And I wouldn't be surprised if 2 or 3 years from now, Cam is in the same situation as Sterling Sharp.
Well, he already got like 11.
Not Sterling Sharp, Shannon Sharp.
Yeah,
Sorry
I think he got like 11 or so like kids already, and so he's known to be promiscuous and kind of get out there and talk to multiple women at a time.
He don't care about that because they buy these chains for $300,000. They don't care about the kids. It's about collection.
Yeah,
I done collected all these females. You think women want to trap men? Some men trying to trap women because this is my collection.
Well, he talked about it also before, though. Or 9 kids, correction. Yeah, correction. 9 kids, not 11. But he also alluded to this in the past. I'm not sure what the exact kind of quote is, but he pretty much, I think there was a situation where he sat down with a woman and he was like, I need to know her roster before I kind of step out there so I don't, end up
run
like
into somebody that already didn't got her.
Yeah, but if you weren't that
by having a child with her or something like that.
Yeah, but if you weren't that worried about, getting with her in the first place, you wouldn't have to come back to that insecure place of knowing exactly who and when and where. That's a real weird mindset in the first place. Because the number really not going to stop you from trying to accomplish what you accomplish. It's just the ego thing on you. You don't want nobody else to feel like they had something you had.
Look, it reminds me how dogs mark their territory.
On the fire hydrant
and this
trees.
is what they be doing. This is a lot of people want these trophies. Mm-hmm. It's like an award. Once you get in the award system, you got to get the next award. So the woman only becomes the next trophy. And that's what they do.
Yeah.
That's why everybody almost date the same people when they get in a certain celebrity space. They date all the hot chicks because they trying to conquer or say, my game is just as big as your game. I got your woman. The woman you got came to me. Like, this is all this extra that goes on when you a celebrity or you got a huge ego. And I think that many times it's hard to settle down once you get in that trophy system where every so often you gotta put another head on the wall.
Well, that's the thing. If you always constantly searching for gold medals and some of your gold medals turn out to be participation trophies, you feel me? You always gonna be on the chase if you're, that kind of person. But it's a shallow mindset. Again, not every woman that you meet is not, I won't say worthy, but sometimes you just gotta know better. Some people offer you better things from a mental kind of perspective or an objective kind of mindset. Again, I have a lot of homegirls that I go to for advice, whether it's dating life or whether it's kind of just, progressing progressing. There's a lot of valuable things that you can learn from having friends who are the opposite sex of you.
And I think that it's powerful when you can keep somebody for the intellect instead of the physical, because sometimes people offer the physical and never get to the mental. So you don't even know what possibilities. This person could have had a good business idea. This person could have been a good asset to your life, but yet you reduce them down to something physical. And once they walk away, you don't get those gifts that they have that could have contributed to a better outcome for your future.
Yeah, you sacrifice 10 to 15 minutes for, you know, a lifetime of knowledge or a lifetime of friendship. And so sometimes the 10 minutes don't even be worth it. I don't know how long people out here doing it for, but so be it. I don't know.
I'm a dog, I'm a mutt.
It's a good song, too. That's a good song.